Good day and welcome to another episode of Heat. This is part 4. We are on the Director's Chair Network. I am your host, Ryan, and I have with me today you've done Michael Mann. I was like, we've done Ed Zwick together. I was already ready for that, but yeah, we have returning
Last in Mohicans.
That's right, returning guest co-host Katie. Katie and I covered Last in Mohicans. She wasn't as thrilled by that movie as I had hoped. That's okay. She's going to maybe redeem herself with the Heat coverage.
I didn't dislike it. It wasn't my favorite movie of all time, you know?
No, okay. I didn't ask for it to be your favorite film of all time. That was not the criteria. But have you gone back and revisited or anything? Or
no, there's just so many things to watch.
Trust me, I understand. I haven't rewatched it since we watched it, but
I haven't seen Heat in a really long time until last night. So
yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, of course, about that. I love podcasts with you, Katie. You're always a treat. You have your own podcast, of course, called Retro Made Podcast, where you cover, of course, John Hughes films at this time, because people who are listening to this on this network feed are like, yeah, Ryan, I know we listen to Katie, and your show is doing well there on the Director's Chair Network, but you have your own standalone feed. Why don't you tell our listeners what else they can listen to on that feed of yours?
Yeah. So my first season was not a specific director. It was around 80s and 90s movies of the beautiful, the wonderful Patrick Swayze and Kurt Russell, who I dubbed the ultimate everyman. That's super fun, I think.
That was great, by the way. Yeah, great coverage of all the films I never heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some little gems in there, some surprises in there, and then of course all of our favorites. So go back, check out Retromade, and check out the first season. And then next season will be something different altogether.
Yeah. Have you pinned it? I know we talked about it. I won't say, but have you refined it more? Or
no, I haven't. Because it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while until we get there. Got several John Hughes movies to.
Yeah, John Hughes has quite the library, and I'm going to be sad when you're kind of done your director's coverage, because not that you're going to leave the network will always be open to you, of course, anytime you want to cover, and you'll come guest with me, I'm sure, anyways, in future episodes. But it's kind of nice having De Palma and John Hughes and now Ed Zwick and now Michael Mann. There's 4 directors being covered on the network. It's great. It's growing. And
it is. Yeah. And hearing your coverage from time to time, you will bring up, oh, maybe I should cover this one or this one or this one.
Because it's kind of exciting to hear about these other directors. Oh yeah, that guy did that one. And he said but my next season, just again, will be Terrence Malick for sure.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, boy. He's an artsy fartsy director. So it's kind of like if you know who he is, you know who he is. But if you don't, you don't, if that makes sense. But his big movie in recent years that made a splash at the box office was The Thin Red Line, the World War II movie, The Thin Red Line. He also did Tree of Life with Brad Pitt and Sean Penn.
Okay.
Basically, he is poetry on film.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The narrative is poetry. Everything's poetry, and the filming, it's all images and narration and music. So some people don't like that.
I guess I sometimes do. If it's well done, I'll like it. So this will be interesting.
It'll be an interesting journey for sure. Yeah. And I haven't seen all of his films, just like all these other ones. I've seen the ones that I've seen, but I haven't done the whole library. So Terrence Malick will be a nice one to complete. Okay. All right. So Michael Mann, this is Heat Part 4. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed the first 3 parts to the journey of Heat. We are on the 4th set of 34 minutes of film coverage. That's what we'll be doing today, folks, as we've been doing for the other 3 episodes. So far it's worked out, and I'm glad Craig, of course, suggested this. I'm glad he did, because this is one I didn't want to rush. Each 34-minute segment seems to have a memorable scene and or scenes, moments, character building. And of course, Katie, some would say maybe you lucked out, but this scene has the quote-unquote shootout. But before we get to, of course, our segment, what is your overall... Well, you talked about it on Last Mohicans, but maybe people didn't listen to that episode. What's your brief overall knowledge or fandom of Michael Mann films?
Yeah, he's a name I know, but I couldn't have named any Michael Mann movies. Sure. In fact, I'm really surprised after you kind of informing me that he's very stylistic. Heat, while stylistic, is very character and dialogue heavy. There's just like a lot going on. So it's kind of surprising to me.
There is a lot going on, and behind the curtains here, I don't mind sharing this with the listeners and my co-hosts, because I've seen this film before, not a lot, 4-5 times all the way throughout the years. with this viewing, I've actually only been viewing the movie per episode. So I haven't seen the last 34 minutes yet at the time of this recording.
Oh, okay.
So for this viewing experience, I've literally have been watching the movie as 34-minute blocks for each recording session. And what's been interesting by doing it that way, it's almost every week or every 2 weeks, so that's when I record. It feels like I'm watching a miniseries.
That's a good way to put it. In fact, it probably should have been, because it is like almost a 3-hour long movie, but there's so much introduced. Like, again, I hadn't seen this movie in a while, and I remember really loving it. I mean, obviously, there's 2 big reasons why people initially went to see this movie.
Oh, of course.
And it's extremely well rated. It's
I think it's pretty high rated.
8.3. It's 8.3 IMDb.
Yeah, that's pretty high. I mean, that's pretty high.
It's extremely high. It's extremely high. Not that I was disappointed, but I guess I kind of left feeling like I needed more. There are a lot of characters to keep track of. And that's how I sort of felt about The Godfather. And we got 3 installments. Those were long movies, but I think we needed like another installment of heat. Really,
it's interesting. Craig brought up the book, and I wonder if the book fleshes out some of the stuff we're talking about.
Because there's a lot of people introduced, and it's one of those movies you have to watch more than once, I think, to kind of remember or realize, pick up who everybody is. And I felt that way about Godfather as well. So I kind of liken it to that. And I feel like in some ways, the movie, I was like, why did we even introduce this character? Like, there were a couple people that I was like, why did, like Dennis Haysbert, for example.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's a fair question, I should say. I don't know if it's a good question. I'm sure it's a fair question, because his character, I think what is showing is the system of rehabilitation and how quickly someone's hopeful trajectory of rehabilitation can take such a terrible. I think it shows you the we talked about it, Sully and I, on episode 3. We talked about how the corruption of the parole officer with this diner, that the parole officer was probably taking a cut. You know,
but I needed more. I needed more of him. Like
Well, I know.
You know what I mean?
For character, I get what you're saying. What I'm trying to get at is, because it's. We don't know much about him. We don't know why he went to jail. We just know that he spent time with De Niro and De Niro's character in The Slammer. We know that he had a woman that was waiting for him on the outside. So when, he already had a relationship good to go, and she was waiting for him, she supported him during his imprisonment. It's just to show us the corruptness of that part of the system. And I guess, how much time do you spend on it? I'm not disagreeing with you.
Well, that's why I think I wanted more. I think there was more to his story that we could have seen. When I do a podcast on a movie, I watch it with a more critical eye than perhaps I used to.
Of course you do. Yeah.
And so they're at the diner, and they're like, oh, you see that guy? Whoever knew him from his time in jail, and that he's like a getaway driver. That happens before they know that Trejo can't, because they already have a getaway driver.
You're right. The world is so small. It's not very well written. This is some of the criticisms that my final hosts, who have not yet named, but they'll introduce themselves. I would not be surprised if he will bring up the writing or the dialogue or some of the tropes. It's very convenient that they're at the diner where, they get.
It was like they planned it. Like, we're going to plan on using this, but then they don't yet know that Trejo can't do it.
Until the phone call. Then after the phone call, you're right. After the phone call,
then they're like, "Oh, isn't this?
This is convenient." We just walk over to the guy who happens to be, he wasn't even on his lunch break. He happened to be right there on the line, cooking food during the same time. Yeah. So that's not a very well written scene. There should have been a different way of doing it. They should have gone to the diner, seen him before, gone back to the diner, and then had they should have had an earlier scene, even maybe the scene at the beginning of the film where they slammed the guy, Wayne Girl's head into the table. That should have been the same diner. And they could say, hey, isn't that weird? The buddy that we used to work with, he's here too. And then they go back to the diner, get the phone call from Trejo saying, hey, look, I'm being tailed. I can't come meet you. And then they go, hey, since we saw you, remember we saw you a couple weeks ago? Well, you want a job? Yeah. So it's just weird that the same day they get the phone call, it's too convenient. But
well, I do love that Danny Trejo plays a character named Trejo.
Yeah, it threw me off for a second when they said, I think Trejo portrayed us. I'm like, wait, Are you talking about Danny Trejo? Like we can't.
I had forgotten a lot about this movie. I'd forgotten a lot of the people who were in it, particularly Danny Trejo. I had forgotten that he was in this at all. But yeah,
I'm with you, and that probably tells you how long it's been since I've seen the film. Because
same.
When I saw the film for the first time, did I know who Trejo was? I knew who Xander Berkeley is by his face. He's the guy that was sleeping with Pacino's wife. Like, I know who that is. I know his name is Xander Berkeley.
Oh, really?
I mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of 24. So Dennis Haysbert played the president in 24, and Xander Berkeley was in 24. So my fandom of 24 was after this movie, and 24 has already been off the air for 10 years. I think it's been 25 years since I've seen this film. I probably haven't seen it again since its release. Watched it a couple times on DVD, and then 25 years go by, and I haven't seen it since because I'd forgotten about Haysbert in it. I forgot about Xander Berkeley in it. I forgot about Trejo being in it. Who else was? Oh, Hank Azaria being in it. I just forgot about all these people that were in it.
All the women. I kind of forgot who was who, like who was paired up with who. Natalie Portman. I forgot about that whole storyline too. There's just a lot of familiar faces. Tom Sizemore, I'd forgotten about him.
Yeah, I forgot. I knew. That's the
I
thing.
forgot what happened. Like at the end, I totally forgot what happened.
We're gonna get to some of those scenes.
Oh, I also forgot about Jon Voight being in it.
What do you think of Jon Voight's hair?
Oh my God! You know what it reminded me of? So I'm not a fan of him as I think he's a crazy person in real life.
Oh, he might be. I don't know. Yeah.
But his hair in this kind of reminded me of his character in Ray Donovan.
I haven't seen that.
I know you haven't. While I'm not a Jon Voight fan, he's really good in Ray Donovan. Like,
well, you might not be a fan of him as a person, but is he a good actor in Donovan?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was really good in that. But he's also
tough. It's tough when you kind of don't know about their personalities or their real life, and just like, man, but I really enjoy their art. And I guess that's what makes the art, not the person. They're an actor,
right?
Yeah.
Now, one person that I do love, both in real life and as an actor, is one Mr. Bobby D.
Well, we're getting to it. Is this our first time together? We've done a few shows together where we've actually on air have really talked about Bobby De Niro. Like,
no, I think it's just come up that he is my favorite actor.
Would you have run off with him?
100%. Even though he drops shit on her, and that's like the second, they don't really know each other. They've like slept together twice, and that's kind of it.
That's all I need to know.
But
it must be a great lay because she has a pretty like crime-free, easygoing life. It's like, yeah, I'll drop it for Bobby.
Yeah, she works at a bookstore. I did look up like how old he. I think
52.
he looks so good in this.
He does. This is peak. I totally agree with you. Casino era, Cape Fear to Casino, like these are peak actors who are men. There seems to be a peak look to a certain age to a man, and I think it's like 45 to 55 is that real
man.
They have the manliness to them, and which I will never reach. I'm nearing 50, and I'll one day.
Well, lucky you. Maybe when you're 75, you'll like.
Oh my gosh, I'll never be a man. One day.
No, it's just that you're youthful looking. You don't have that like grizzled.
I know. I'm not grizzled. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyways, yeah, but you look at Bobby and Al. Al was 55 in this film. And you look at them, and they have that kind of. They're still sprite enough to run. You know, there's a scene of Al Pacino running with the shootout. It's like, yeah, I can see Al Pacino running. You know, he's tiny, but he can still run, and he's not too old to run. I run, like I said, I'm nearing 50, and I run every day, and so it's like, oh, he can run down the street. And same with Bobby. You know, like he looks good, he looks fit, he looks
really fit.
Yeah,
like he, Well,
Cape Fear was only. Well, I guess that was 89, was it? 89.
This is 95.
So he's 6-7 years removed from that, but still, his shape is still good. De Niro's acting, we mentioned it with Doug, of course, when we did the one scene with him just on the phone, the way he looks at the apartment.
Yeah,
there's something about his stoic, the way he's able to look. And I didn't get it out with Sully on the last episode. I don't think I was able to relay it to him very well. I'll do it with you. That their dinner scene, the way Robert De Niro looks at Al Pacino across the table. I just used their actors' names, not the characters' names. So the way he does his head tilt, and he does his mouth thing, and he doesn't quite look at Al. The way Robert De Niro is able to do the mouth and eye acting that he does is such a cool,
yeah.
He's so good. If I try to do that, I'll just look like I might have like a tick.
Yeah. Well, you have to be able to sell dangerous or, you know, like tough guy. I wouldn't be able to either, but I just think he's brilliant. Brilliant. Aside from the fact that I find him extremely attractive.
It's not the dangerous thing. There's a little bit. Is that true, Katie?
Yes, it is.
The bad boy. There's a little bit of bad boy in him. A little bit of a danger streak in him.
Definitely, and you know he's Italian. Yeah, and you know I have a thing for that darkness.
But I know he's acting. I know. Same with Joe Pesci has that too. And I know they're acting. I know they're actors. They're not criminals. But I wonder if there's a part of the actor. I won't say Robert. I'm not trying to disparage anybody here. But I wonder when actors like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, when they do those tough man scenes of like just when he comes in to talk to Ashley Judd's character in the hotel and slams the hangers, you know, is there a part of him that he's feeling it? Like, you know what I mean by that? Like,
I do. And
I'm not that way. Like, I've been angry in my life. I get it. But there's certain actors who are able to pull off that kind of energy where I'm like, how deep are you digging? Or are you just kind of naturally, you can go there?
Well, in some people's personality, like even like a man that isn't, you know, he might be an accountant but that's maybe not a good example, but a salesman or whatever. But like, you know, regular dudes can have like a coolness, like a suaveness to them. That eludes that bad boyness. So maybe Robert, the person, just kind of has that. And
yeah, I think so. No, he was peak Robert here. I agree, and I love him. We're going to show some scenes of him, of course, coming up here. What's your thoughts on Al? We know you love Robert De Niro, of course, but what's your thoughts on Al Pacino? Do you enjoy his films? Have you sought out his films? Or are you just like, oh, he happens to be in this film, so I'm going to watch him?
In my book, probably in the top 10 of actors.
Okay.
I do think Robert De Niro is whatever. I enjoy Robert's films better. Sure. And it was just so cool to see these two who are kind of considered, you know, they're about the same age. They're both like Italian-American. They were both in The Godfather 2. Yeah. They go up for similar roles. And so it was a big deal. These two guys that are kind of known as the best actors of our time.
Yeah, they were the acting version of Schwarzenegger and Stallone. Like they were the actors version of that.
Yeah, great analogy. Yeah. So, I mean, that was like a really big draw for this movie. I do seek out Al Pacino's movies. Okay. More so his older stuff. I don't like his yelly Pacino in later years as much.
You don't like the she's got a big ass or what?
I actually kind of did, but he just kind of overdoes it. I think it's like become a shtick.
So what's your theory? What's your theory? Is it Michael Mann telling him to do this, or is Al saying?
Oh, it's Al. It's Al. It's totally Al. Because he's that way in so many other movies. It's Al.
I just love how the script says, "Okay, give me all you got." It says the script says, "Give me all you got," and Al reads that, goes, "No, I'm going to slam the table." Yeah. Why does he do that? Why did he do that?
It's Al Pacino's over-the-top nature. Like, I don't know. He recently wrote a book, like a memoir, and I read it. It was very good. Yeah, so I do very much like Al Pacino.
Is it called Al? It's just called Al?
I can't recall.
Yeah. But it's just funny where Michael Mann as a director, I wonder if he said, okay, great, Al. I love the energy. I love that you slammed the table and yelled, give me all you got. Give me all you got. And then go back, talk normal. Can we just try it once without the yelling? Just see how that works.
Boy, I would have been really... I'm curious to learn more about Michael Mann now because I would have felt in over my head directing this movie.
He didn't direct them. He didn't direct Al.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think Michael, the more I'm seeing of his films, his thing is, and this is where I can see again, I'm not going to speak for the host, the final host, but I don't think Michael Mann is concerned about character. And this is his biggest character film, but I don't know if he handled it great. I don't think he's a great dialogue writer. I don't think he's a great, maybe even, but I think he's a great camera performer. And there's shots and angles that are just so cool to look at. I think he makes cool films. Mm-hmm. I think films that are cool to look at. They're aesthetically pleasing. There's some shots that are just, oh, that's cool. I like that shot. I like that, the guy in the front, the guy in the back, or those type of shots. There's a few in our 30 minutes of film. Whereas Ed Zwick, which we covered, I think Ed is very concerned about the relationship part of things. He's very concerned about the emotion of the character. Every character is important. Everyone has a purpose on screen, where I think Michael uses the characters to say, hey, you want to see a cool shootout scene? Or do you want to see an over-the-top grieving mother with Al Pacino? I think he just shows you things that look cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And he tells a cool story with cool characters, and everyone's just cool, and it's just a cool story. I don't know if it's very cohesive. This movie, watching through that critical eye, Katie, I'm not gonna say I haven't enjoyed this film as much, because I got to be careful here, because I do enjoy the film. But my ranking system of the Michael Mann films when I'm done this season will be very interesting where this lands. The coolness factor of this film, and I don't want to give more ammunition to my final host, because I want him to come in with guns blazing. But I can say, without hearing his comments, that it's not as a cohesive film as I thought. And there's a lot of shallowness to the characters, like you were talking about. But every scene and segment's so much fun to watch. So I don't know. You have to make your peace with. I love the Al Pacino over the top. It's fun to watch. I love how cool De Niro's in every scene, how he just looks cool, talks cool, the way he is. But I don't understand the way they travel, the relationships, the high scene, which we can start playing very shortly here. It didn't quite make sense. Like, where are they? What are they shooting at? It was actually like, what's going on? I was actually unclear of what was happening.
I very much echo your sentiments. I remembered this movie being awesome, like so amazing, and it's not.
Okay, I have a theory.
It's very good. Before
people hang up their phones.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. It's okay. You're allowed. Boy, Katie comes in and craps over last.
No. I like it a lot. I very much like Heat.
I'm just bugging it. What I'm getting at is I think what Heat has done, because I haven't seen it in 25 years. What he did for films is it set up the Christopher Nolans that we have. I think Christopher Nolan borrowed heavily from Michael Mann's aesthetics and realism and things like that, and other films like this. So what we're seeing the first iPhone or the first computer, and so we're like, oh, I thought this was amazing when it came out. I thought these graphics were well, they were.
Yeah.
When you experienced Heat for the first time, there's nothing like this. It's been improved upon. And that's the problem. So when we go back to the old Commodore 64, when I was a kid, I didn't think anything would beat Pitfall or Frogger, right? Like, that's all I ever needed was Frogger. Why would you need anything more than Frogger or Pitfall? Oh, then the Super Nintendo comes out. Oh, and then PC games. Okay. So what we're remembering is the joy of experiencing something for the first time. And this film brought out aesthetics and coolness and the high energy and realism of shootouts. And so I think what happened is other films have improved upon the formula. And then we go back to Heat. We're like, hey, that wasn't as
right.
I'll use Christopher Nolan. I think he stole sort of Michael Mann's mantle a little bit and ran with it. And rightfully so. He's an incredible writer and filmmaker. So
I also think there's something to the Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in the same movie.
Of course,
was a huge deal. And I don't know if you're going to talk about the rumors, at the time about.
Oh, well, go ahead. I don't think we've mentioned the word rumors yet.
Well, there was rumors that these two didn't like each other. And
really, I believe you. Where'd you get that from?
Well, again, I didn't research it before the show. I just remember hearing about, because they weren't ever on screen together in Godfather 2.
That's right.
And it was like, oh, and they're in the same movie, they're playing against each other. But because of the way that it was shot, they were never actually face to face. When Robert was talking, we see the back of Al Pacino's head and vice versa. It was always shot that way, except for maybe the very final scene. The rumor was that it was a stand-in, that they didn't like each other and didn't want to be in scenes together. That was the rumor. Maybe it was just like one of those things, like the kid from Wonder Years is Marilyn Manson, like one of those rumors. I don't think it's the case. I think that has been debunked, but that was a rumor.
I just covered that scene with part 3. And I don't recall them but I see what you're saying. Like, we had the classic Sopranos end sequence. You see the whole family sitting at the table. Like, it's obvious they're all there. I'm trying to remember now. Did we see that with?
I purposefully paid attention to anytime they were in the same scene. They showed one person. It was like whoever was talking, they'd go back and forth, and then you'd see the back of the other person's head. The very final scene, maybe but that kind of fueled these rumors that they didn't like each other. I'm not trying to spread that rumor. I'm just recalling that was a thing.
I think if I'd heard about that, again, it's been 25 years. And my brain just can't, I got to remember everyone's feud as time.
Yeah, this movie was 30 years ago. That's wild to me. So, sometimes those kind of rumors were, like to help make waves or like let's go see this movie then.
When you watched the scene recently, did you know the rumor before you watched the scene just recently?
I recall the rumor from 30 years ago.
I was just curious because you just watched it. If you were watching for the filming sequence, if you caught that it was.
And because I recalled that, like I knew about that being a thing with Heat and Al and Robert De Niro. Therefore, I purposefully watched for it. And it is true, except now I can't recall the very final scene, but you don't ever see both their faces.
Based on the evidence, it is clear that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino liked each other during the filming of Heat. Their 50-year friendship, marked by shared experiences, mutual support, and public demonstrations of affection, suggests a positive working relationship. The debunked theory of discord, combined with their lighthearted interactions in public forums, reinforces this conclusion. The professional collaboration post-Heat further indicate a sustained, amicable relationship, likely enhancing their performances in Heat through trust and understanding. Key events in De Niro and Pacino's friendship and Heat collaboration, 20th anniversary screening they attended together.
I don't believe it to be true, but I remember.
Oh, no, I'm not saying this to you, but to our listeners. It's to our listeners, too.
I recall it being a rumor, but that it has since been debunked.
Christopher Nolan did a Q&A with Michael Mann. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
I may have to watch that as a bonus episode.
But the fact that the scenes were shot the way they were fueled the rumor.
Mann confirmed that they shared their shots, according to that Q&A in 2016.
Yeah. The conspiracy theorists out there probably were like, oh, see how he shot this? They'd be like, the camera's on Al and we just see a person's head. I'm sure it was actually those two.
I have a theory, and again, this is to the listener, not to you, that they're so good at acting that when they're on set, it probably came across like they didn't like each other because of the tension of the scene. And maybe I would be surprised if there's some like key grip who's like, oh man, could you tell they were like, because these are like class A actors, so they probably came on set tense, right?
Yeah, but somehow the rumor got started, and it could have even been before this movie, and then they were like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know."
Yeah, I'm glad we investigated that and cleared it up. So it's been debunked by Michael Mann himself, unless he's lying. But in 2019, at the Irishman premiere, Pacino and De Niro hugged, and Al Pacino said, "I love you" to De Niro. That was in 2019. So there you go. Yeah, they're friends. Of
course they are. I would be brokenhearted if they.
I would be too. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's watch some of these scenes here. So, of course, starts off right away. Your 34 minutes of film starts right away with the actual heist. Now, I want to play a little bit of the music. I love the soundtrack, and that's again Michael Mann. It might not be the same composer that he uses in each film since his time in Thief. But that motive, whatever it is that he likes, he continues using throughout his film. So whoever's composing his films, like, that's great. Whatever you did before, I want you to make it sound like this. Now, Last Mohicans was an exception, but I forgot to mention when we did the recording together. There was times during that film where like, oh, I hear it. It was done in the classic way, of course, like the more like the lush score, but there were still moments of that Michael Mannism soundscapes. Last week.
Okay.
Yeah, very subtle, of course, because it's a very not generic, but not standard, but what you would expect from a epic type film soundtrack. But it's beautiful soundtrack, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful soundtracks ever. However, we're back to it again with Heat, and just listen to the score here as Robert De Niro's character enters the bank and everyone's getting ready in position. Just builds the tension so well. Now, it just shows you the power of music. He's just walking slowly into the bank.
Good point. Yeah.
But the way it goes. Now, if you're to take away that music or change the score, it doesn't have the same tension. It just gets you right away. Oh, we're doing this. We're in the bank.
It hypes up the anxiety level.
Absolutely. So he's in the bank, and of course, looking is very, he's very calm, very stoic. It shows the bank guards. It shows Val Kilmer's character walking. I love how they're all wearing their earpieces. It's hilarious.
I thought it was interesting now that they walk in unmasked, but then they put masks on.
To play devil's advocate, speaking of an Al Pacino film, they're not alarming anyone right now. They're getting in position. That's all. Now they're in position. Now they mask up because they don't want to mask up before they're in position to cause the chaos.
Except for Val doesn't until later. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Well, cameras back then, this is 95, so CCTV wasn't, they were around, especially probably in banks.
But didn't they disarm the system?
Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah. They don't show it. Did they show it? I can't remember.
I don't think they did, but this is just for like people recognizing them like in real life.
So the difference we're getting here now with this crew, of course, with this bank robbery, now they're actually robbing a bank. This is a big break, big score, I should say. And we saw in the opening film when they take down the armored truck that they left 3 poor dead armored truck security guards. Here, there's not one death. No one gets killed.
The reason those 3 guys died is because of
Waingro.
Waingro killed them.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
That's what it means. They're pulling off a bigger heist with less people, but the people they can trust. And they don't want to kill anyone. They're using fear, absolutely, to get what they want. They're punching people around, but they want everyone to go home to their families at the end of the day. They don't want to murder anybody.
Yeah, and they even say as much. I can't remember. De Niro has like a couple really good lines about that.
When he's up on the desk talking about
yeah. There is no way in hell. This is like a big bank that just has in its vault those big blocks of cash. There's no world in which a single key opens the vault.
Right.
Stay down. We want to hurt no one. We're here for the bank's money, not your money. Your money is insured by the federal government. You're not going to lose a dime. Think of your families. Don't risk your life. Don't try and be a hero. Right now, I want you to sit on the floor and put your hands on your head. Anybody feel sick? Anybody got heart trouble? Go ahead and lean against the wall.
So there you go. Make yourself comfortable while we rock. Like, I don't take this personally. Just
no, he's absolutely right. Like this, it's not your money. I worked at a bank in college, and I actually did get robbed.
What?
At gunpoint? Yeah,
you did.
So that's why I was like this vault situation. It was an escaped convict too.
You've never told me this. This has never come up.
Well, it doesn't
Are
come
you
up.
okay?
Well, it was pretty traumatic because a week later, the same type of bank, and he was pointing a gun at us and made us go in the back vault room and count to 100 as he did leave. But yeah, gun right in my face. Take my money. A week later, a different branch of the same brand of bank got robbed a week later, and 5 people were killed. So it was
from the same guy?
No, different. It was just like a happenstance. So it was kind of traumatic. But and this was just like a small community bank. It wasn't like a big bank like this. And so watching this, I'm like, one key is not opening the vault. Like this is happening way too easily. Also, they don't know what the cash actually, what's his face probably did tell him what the cash situation would be, but it's very convenient.
It wasn't 12 million or something.
Yeah, but like in what format? Like it was already bricked up perfectly for them to quickly put in a bag.
They were in and out very quick. They just put everything in a duffel bag and off they went. Yeah. Now we're back to the cop station, and Al Pacino and the gang, they receive a tip. Let's just watch it because they get a tip of the hit. So here we go.
Hey, Casals. You guys working the case on the Neil McCauley? The CI Hugh Benny called in about a bank they're looking at or something?
Vincent! Far East National Bank 1130.
Okay, so Hugh Benny, remind me who that was again. Is that Henry Rollins' character?
Who said that?
Hugh Benny is the character, the confidential foreman. It's Henry Rollins' character.
Is it? Okay.
I missed this the first time watching this yesterday in preparation for today's episode. So Hugh Benny, played by Henry Rollins, you know who that is now in the character. So that's Van Zant's bodyguard. He's calling in this score. How did Waingro know about the day and time? Did they talk about this?
Yeah. So there were a few things around this that I was a little confused about. Yeah. I did assume that the informant was Waingro
Waingro related.
Because of Waingro.
Yeah.
They had already been talking about this heist when Waingro was still a part of the crew.
Remind me when then.
Well, I don't know.
Not like the timestamp, but like just like when did this?
I could be making that up in my mind because there was a point in time where Val Kilmer is like drunk at De Niro's house, or at some point they're talking about the bank, and and Val's like, I thought we were doing something else first, and he's like, yeah, that too, but now there's this bank.
Yeah,
I guess I sort of assumed that they have been planning this.
Yeah, see, it felt
maybe
like
not.
Picked up Waingro at the side of the road almost for that. Remember, he just jumps in Tom Sizemore's truck, and Tom Sizemore's character's like, "Can you just shut up? I don't really know who you are. You're not part of the gang." So how does Waingro know?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So how does Waingro know? Like they're going to hit this bank 11:30 today, and the editing here is not very good. They should have shown this scene right that we're watching right now before De Niro walked into the bank. Why they didn't do that, I don't know, because they get to the bank very quickly. Because the way it's edited, it indicates like, well, it's 11:30, but what time is it right now? Because the bank robbery is almost done by the time they get into CI. So this is a bad edit.
Also,
go ahead.
Well, we know that Waingro knows because he goes to Van Zant. That's why they called it in. He's like, oh, I can offer you something. So we assume that as a viewer, but I guess I was sort of confused that the characters in the movie, De Niro doesn't assume that it was Waingro. He assumes that it was Trejo.
I know. I don't understand that either. Like you said, the only person that knew about this was Trejo.
Well, guess who wasn't there? I mean, which is logical, but also I immediately thought it was Waingro and not Trejo.
Wait, it's coming to me. It's coming to me. Just wait. People are yelling at us because the heat nerds are yelling at us. Yeah, there's heat nerds. When De Niro's character, we're jumping ahead here, goes to Trejo and says, "Why'd you do it?" He goes, "Well, they had my woman. They're going to kill my woman."
Yep.
So it was Rollins' character that beat it out of him. So that it wasn't Waingro. Waingro didn't know when it was going to go down.
But he knew something was going to happen.
Like, yeah, it's like, hey, what's the next big score? And like Trejo's like, I don't know, but fine, beats it. We're going to kill your woman. Goes, fine, they're going to hit the bank. Then Hugh Benny then calls the cops saying, I've got information of the next big score.
Yeah, you're right. Because it turns out it was Trejo, but somehow we are led to believe, and we knew that Waingro was involved in some way.
Yeah, but Waingro didn't know that. That's what I mean. I answered my own question. He didn't know about this time and place. It was Trejo that knew.
You're exactly right.
That's what De Niro was saying. The only person that knew was Trejo. And then Trejo did know, and he was the one that betrayed. But even De Niro's character was like, oh, they had his woman. They're beating like, I get it. Like, what are you gonna do? Save the crew over your woman? Like, I get it. Like,
yeah. The other thing, you're gonna laugh at me. Two things about this scene. One, Wes Studi.
Yeah. Last of the Mohicans. He's returning for you.
I immediately noted him. The other thing is that I knew Ted Levine was in this. I watched the movie all the way through the credits last night. And
you didn't know where he was in the whole movie?
I confused two characters. He's listed as Bosco, so he's one of these cops.
He gets killed in the yeah. He's the first death, actually. Yeah.
The entire time I was watching the movie, I thought Ted Levine was Waingro because he has the same look as Buffalo Bill.
I even said in our first episode the name Kevin Grange or whatever his name is.
You may have, and I don't know.
How dare you not listen to every iota I give?
I listened to the episode, but I hadn't watched the movie again yet. I only watched the movie last night.
If you're not listening to Katie, no one's listening. You're the quote Star Wars, a film that you never watch. You're my only hope, Katie.
No, okay. I do listen, but I literally for a second was like, did they screw up the credits?
Oh yeah, they screwed up. It could have been Katie.
I know, but I was like, oh my God, because it's like literally the same character as Buffalo Bill. I totally thought Ted Levine was Waingro.
So a little bit of a bad edit. I didn't realize it to watch this now. Actually, no, I did think of that. No, that's not true. When I watched this yesterday, this segment, I thought to myself, boy, they better hurry because they're telling the cops, you better get there. It's 11:30. Well, like, when's this call coming in? Noon? They've already been doing this for 10 minutes at least inside the bank, 7 to 8 minutes at least. By the time Daryl walks in, they walk out the money. 5 minutes. So already they're already too late.
Well, he even says that. Oh shit, they're coming out already or something like that, right?
But yeah, that's what I mean. So but they must be very close, like downtown traffic and everything. So when did they get the CI? Like 11:20, 11:15. That's why it should have happened, because they haven't been there for 15 minutes. So this is what I'm getting at. The timing is wrong. Because they're literally walking out the door after 5 minutes. So you're telling me the cops went from their office to this location in a matter of 5 minutes?
Yes, that's what we're led to believe. That's what we're led to believe.
It's impossible. Unless the cop station is literally a block away.
Around the corner. Yeah.
This is what I mean. Michael Mann sets up cool shots, but he's not concerned about continuity or how did we get here or why are the characters doing this. I don't know if he's...
Yeah. And this shootout, it's fun. Like shootouts are fun in movies, but there is no concern for bystanders.
None.
Like at all.
Well, other than yelling, get down, get down, get down. And Al Pacino constantly shoving people out of the way. Get down, get down.
Like they're just out in the open with women, children, everybody. Shooting. Automatic weapons, not like a pistol.
Well, wasn't there an actual bank robber shootout after this film came out? Same idea.
Well, that's what happened at my bank branch too. Like
no, but I meant with the cops and the good and bad guys. Like
maybe.
But there's a lot of people around here. I agree. There's a lot of people around, and their safety is not really like. I would be like, just let the money go.
In fact, Tom Sizemore's character, and I thought, oh, that's smart. He picks up a child, thinking the cops are not going to shoot me. I'm holding a child. And Al Pacino does. And I'm like, there is no way, because even if you trusted your marksmanship to shoot his head, he's holding a child. Would that happen ever?
No. There's no way with that kind of weapon to do that kind of precision shot. Maybe a sniper on a roof, maybe. But Tom's moving around, the kid's moving around. You talk him off the ledge because the person holding the baby or the child doesn't shoot the child right away because they're like, well, that's my only... If I shoot the kid, then I'm dead anyways. The bad guys, quote unquote, had the cops been 30 seconds later driving, had they hit a red light or I don't know, someone forgot their... I don't know.
They would have gotten away.
Again, it's a movie trope. I understand that, but they're just about to get away. And the cops are spotted. See Al's character, get down, move it. I love how they're yelling, get down, before they're even like... There's that music.
So the guy that we just saw that's blonde haired and balding, but it's short hair, that's Ted Levine.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay.
That's Buffalo Bill. What I love is the cops, they got out way early, which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't just box the car in.
Good point. Because all but Chris, which by the way, it's really hard. There are two characters in this movie that I think they should have renamed because they don't go with the actor. There is no world that Val Kilmer is named Chris.
Oh,
it doesn't go. Everybody's in the car except him. Also, Neil. Can I point out Neil? Neil?
Yeah.
Can you name him something else? Neil does not go.
This is what I mean about this, is that the cops dump their cars a block away because they're walking quickly towards them and exiting. What was their game plan?
Good question.
I'm not law enforcement. I wish Doug was here for this because they're just walking the street right now. They're armed, yes, but they're walking the street to do what? You're under arrest. Freeze. Wouldn't they have been better just to follow the car?
Yes.
Get a helicopter on top of it?
But that wouldn't have allowed for this epic shootout in the middle of downtown LA.
I understand. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a cool shootout. But I'm talking now objectively and critically of the story writing. Because as much as Michael Mann wanted to keep things real, this doesn't make sense. I don't think this is real cop procedures. And the cops are already yelling, get down, move it. It's like, are you alerting? Because who's yelling, get down? They're not coming very stealth, but they're at the same time, they're kind of moving quickly, but they're pushing civilians out of the way in the process. Are you coming in hot or cold? Why are you alerting the public to your presence carrying weapons? They're gonna start, well, hey, whoa. And it's their fault that they should have let them get in the car and start driving away, get them out of the city limits, tail them for a little bit, put a helicopter on top of the car and just trail them, get SWAT out. They're in one vehicle, get a helicopter on top of that vehicle and trail it. That's it.
That makes for a less exciting movie, I think.
I guess maybe. Is that what it is?
I think so.
I'm such a wet blanket. See, he sees cops. Look,
how did he see? Like, that's some eagle eye shit, right?
Yeah, he sees a cop holding a gun beside a U-Haul, and right away he starts firing. Just aesthetically listen to that music that we heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. That's one thing we mentioned, that when this scene kicks in, the music stops, because the music doesn't tell us who we're rooting for, because we're not sure. Do we root for the bad guys? Do we root for Al? I'm conflicted because I kind of like both sides of the law here and the bad guys. Like, you're kind of rooting for both. So let's just watch a little bit of this, and for our audio listeners, you're just going to hear what everyone loves is the gunfire sound.
Fucking car!
And there's Al's gun. I don't know what Al's gun is, but it seems like it's like a higher level of gun. Like it seems to be, yeah.
I'm not a police person, but do they just carry around? These are automatic weapons. I didn't think
they do. Yes, but that's what I mean. They come ready. They come.
Oh, it's not their
full
they're
to
not
the
just
hilt.
pulling up happenstance on it.
No,
yeah.
I don't think like a cop doesn't approach your car with a speeding ticket with an assault rifle. Yeah, these are all like high end assault rifles. Of course,
you're right, because they have their vests on and stuff. Yeah.
So there's the death face of Ted Levine there. I love it. Look at his face.
I can't believe I'm still like mad at myself that I was confused as to who was who.
So we got to hear more of the gunfire, of course.
Go, 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 go!
Okay. Al, says goodbye to Ted Levine. I'm confused about Al's running. He just keeps running down the street. I don't know. How far is he going compared to where the vehicle's going? He always seems to be right behind where the car might be.
They do try to box them in at this point, I think, don't they? Isn't there like a patrol car?
But where's Al running to?
I don't know.
It is kind of funny because I'm watching subjectively, like Al's running to the car. So the car gets shot down. To the cops' credit, they get the car done. They kill President Haysbert from 24. He gets killed. But let's listen to again this gunfire and car crash because it's kind of cool, and then we'll talk.
How are they still close enough to the car? Yeah, you're right.
Yes. So Al does the headshot. So Al does one shot, kills Dennis Haysbert, the driver, because it shows the side window blowout after his one shot, which kills Dennis. He's a marksman. We're led to believe he's a marksman. This is a good day for Al. He kills the bad guy driver and Tom Sizemore. That's two for Al. And now the driver's dead. It crashes. Well, how is he running? The car is going 80 miles an hour. So, like, I love how Al's still able to. Yeah. And here's the thing. Speaking of the diner scene, we never see Al and the car in the same frame. The car always seems to be around everyone, but we never see the car in the same frame with people.
You're right. That's for a reason. I was always rooting for these guys, the bank robbers, to get away. And I knew, this is how movies go. I was like, sweet, all four of them did finally get in the car. But then I was like, oh, shit. They blew the tire out and then they killed the driver. So now what? They have to get out again.
So they are boxed in. The cops here were already there boxing it in. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to start the firefight early. They should have stayed in their vehicles and followed the car to the boxing in. Because these cop cars are already here. So either they're here because the firefight started or they're here to prevent getaway. Either way, they could have been informed and been there to help box all this in a safe area. But they started firing before they got here. There was no reason for the firefight to take place. They should have stayed in their vehicles, not alerted them. They make them think they're getting away. They drive away slowly because they don't want to attract attention. That's the whole point. They're going to drive slowly and away. Cops follow them in an unmarked vehicle and they trap them later. It's not that hard.
You're right. Except I feel like what happened here was I don't think those cars were in place the whole time.
But they're there now. This firefight's only taken place for a minute and a half and they're already set up. So did they set up that quickly or were they already there? Either way, in the movie world that we're in, they could have been there that quickly without the firefight. And again, Al's running to what? I'm not sure.
And there's so many casualties seemingly. Like this is just in the middle of
There's
downtown.
a lot of cop casualties. I don't know if there's any civilian ones.
Maybe we might not see it, but there would have. They're just like firing away. Like certainly people died. innocent.
Well, again,
people.
the cop count. I think there's about 9 to 10 cops that were killed.
Yeah.
I hate watching that. I know it's just a movie, but there's that part of me that there's 10 to 11 men, looks like old men, who aren't going home to their wives and kids that day for $12 million. Like, none of this money's worth it. This is just a bank robbery.
It's not even that much money. I guess maybe in 95 it was, but
even let them go with it. Let them go and just get them later.
Yeah, like this would be to catch like a serial murderer or something. But yeah, you're right. They robbed a bank. Big whoop. I mean, not big whoop, but you can catch them
now.
later.
It's an issue, but this is the problem. Now everyone's firing, so they have to fire back. So Tom Sizemore's character is not able to get away.
He is a big dude in this.
He's put on a little bit of weight. Is that what you mean?
He looks really wide.
I think it's alcohol. Honestly. So now this scene is interesting. So Chris, played by Val Kilmer, he's hit. Now, what's interesting here, Katie, is what does Robert De Niro's character do that's wrong in his own mantra?
Be ready to leave a situation in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he should have left him behind. It just goes to show you, thick as thieves, right? Either way, he quoted that thing twice in the film. The spot he'd come around the corner.
It was like 3 times.
He doesn't follow his own. He goes back to the woman and he goes back for Val.
But ultimately, he does follow it. Maybe because he doesn't think he's like dead. He wants to try and save him.
It doesn't matter. You slows him down. You're right. He just grabbed his bag.
But they're too heavy. It's too heavy. Like that's a heavy ass bag. But I was just going to say,
he's carrying the body in the bag though.
Selfishly, Val Kilmer had the other bag of money.
Al's still running. Now, I just love how Al is able to run. He just keeps running. It's hilarious. Barely pants. You got to give him credit. His cardio's pretty good, eh?
There is a scene later on when he's running with something and it looks like he's on the struggle bus, but they just find a car with keys in it.
And by the way, him running with a rifle like that's so not tactical. Having it up like this, I could be wrong.
Like close to your chest?
Well, it's pointed down, one for safety too, but this having it wobbly, because you're having your arm. I don't know if that's better. Like you want to have it in a carry, because if you can just go like this, you want to have a 2-hand carry. Because if it's a 2-hand carry, because he's got to bring it down and put it in his hand and then shoot. To run like this and then like that.
You're right. You're probably absolutely right. I took it as there's civilians around, and if it's pointed,
point the weapon down. You point the weapon down. The weapon's pointed down. It's going to hit the ground.
Okay.
Having it up in the air, it's even more. There could be people in buildings and
True. That's true.
So yeah, it's just aesthetic. It's part of the movie aesthetic to run with it that way. Some of the cops are running sort of proper with the weapons down. Like Wes Studi's character is running. That's an L. Him running with it that way. Tom Sizemore character is kind of doing the 2-hand carry. So here's Tom who's going to pick up the kid.
I think that's smart.
It is, but picks up a kid. Just aesthetic. It just looks cool running with a weapon like that. I don't know why, but I wonder what kind of weapon that is. It looks like just a higher caliber of a.
I am not a gun person. I don't know.
No, I'm not either.
But this drove me nuts. This scene, Ryan.
Well, he's already got him in his sights. He's got him in his sights.
1 inch over, and you're killing that kid.
Yeah. He's got a clear shot of the head there, sure.
But if you miss, though, I mean, you have to be pretty confident in your abilities.
I could argue some really are. Like, I'm not a good shot. I would not trust me. But some people really are. I actually saw a real life hostage situation where I think it was a South American country. I don't know which one. But the guy was holding a knife or something to a woman's throat against a building, and they took him out.
Now, that does make sense if there was immediate danger for this child, but I guess I took it as he's not trying to kill her.
Oh, the immediate danger is there's just bullets flying around when he's a target. You can almost argue that's I know what you're saying, like, you're right, but again, it's a movie trope. But he did use her as a shield. She's going to be in danger because how far is he going to take her into the car?
You're right.
It's just kind of
right.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be curious if they teach you that in like the police academy, though. I feel like they would probably teach you not to shoot.
I don't know what the negotiation for talk first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that was interesting about that sequence, I'd forgotten that it happens with still a quarter of the film left. And it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long of a sequence. My brain was like 10, 12 minutes long. What was it? Probably
There was so much of this movie I didn't remember because the last sequence lasts a while. There was a lot that I didn't remember. And to your point, again, there's a lot of little stories threaded together. Jeremy Piven here as the doctor to
the veterinary classic.
Yeah.
Don't take it. Is it a veterinarian? They took.
I don't know. I was like, is it a dentist or I don't know. I think it's an animal doctor. But why does he ask for his shirt? Because his is bloody. They swap, right?
Yeah, they do. They take us. Well, I don't know if they swap. He just takes the shirt. So Jeremy Piven in the one scene role of just playing the. He just always seems like he's sleazy. I don't know what
he has this. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So anyway, they're patching up. Chris is played by Val, patching up his wounds. There's not much else to the scene, other than we get Jeremy Piven, just another bit role. Just I don't know if these actors like, hey, I'll go in that movie. Just give me some screen time on from Tone Loc to Jeremy Piven to Xander Berkeley, just Hank Azaria, a little bit larger role for him. But you got a lot of these actors like, I'll be in this cool movie.
Yeah, heck yeah. One other thing about the Waingro and the Van Zandt. I don't think Van Zandt is just a banker.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I feel like they mentioned because just regular bankers don't have like a bodyguard. Okay, right? Like, he doesn't have the Henry Rollins. I think they mentioned something about money laundering. So he's a shady cat, and he orders a hit on someone. Just a regular, like a banker wouldn't do that.
Oh, I don't know if banker's the right word. I think you said that. I think he's just, you're right. He black market money laundering. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like
okay.
Yeah. Now let's just listen a little bit to the scene here of De Niro's character going to Trejo, played by Trejo. Just a reminder of how this all went down.
Why'd you do it? What happened?
They made me.
Who?
Where's Anna?
She's dead. So's Michael Breen, the guy who stood in for you. Who did it? Who did it?
They had Anna, man.
Who had her?
Waingro.
So Waingro was here with Henry Rollins then? They were both laying the smackdown on him? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Because
we know Waingro's a bad dude. And if anyone's going to kill the woman, Waingro's going to kill the woman.
Yeah, he already did.
He already did, yeah.
This is super weird, but I'm curious if there are any other listeners. So I have my one friend group and we still laugh at this. We were at a brewery one time just talking about actors, and somehow it came up. All four of us were like, yeah, there is something about Danny Trejo. What? Like that we're all sort of like,
you and the bad boys, would you stop it?
And we all recognize that it's like super weird, like really weird, but there's something about Danny Trejo. Yeah.
That's why I have no luck with the girls. I mean, I'm married, of course, but if it wasn't for my marriage,
you have to be like super
a baby
grizzled
face. I'm boring. I'm so vanilla.
No, that's like one of those really weird, like who's an ugly person that you're somehow weirdly attracted to, and it's Danny Trejo.
Who would it be for me? I got to think about that. I got to think about who would I, for the female side of that, who's ugly that I'm attracted.
You know, like, yeah.
I'm just trying to think.
Somebody not known to like known.
Yeah,
I
know. There's got to be somebody. I'd have to get back on that because I'm sure there's somebody. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Who isn't conventionally hot,
right?
As they say.
I could see someone saying Sandra Bernhard or somebody like that. Like she's kind of sexy, but she's
I don't like
attractive.
No, it's not at all. I know who you're saying.
Yeah.
But good example. But no, I'd have to get back to you on that. All right.
Waingro on his own.
Okay, so Waingro was there by himself. Okay, so Waingro went here, beat the shit. Boy, is he that tough that he beat up Trejo and killed the woman? Like he did this alone, working for Van Zandt? But how did he know that he worked for Van? See, this is where it gets a little confusing. Like, hey, I'm killing Anna and beating you at the pulp, but I'm doing this for Van Zandt, Trejo.
Yeah, it came up.
I guess.
The other he worked for is it?
Yeah, but again, so De Niro's like, Van Zandt? Yeah, so Van Zandt sent his dogs out to do this, get the information from Trejo, where they're hitting the bank, to mess up their bank robbery. Oh, cool. But again, it's odd writing because there's a scene where Waingro's here by himself, and he's able to kill Anna and beat the crap out of Trejo on his own.
You could argue that Henry Rollins was with him. He just didn't
Maybe know
state
who he
that.
was.
Yeah.
But it was Henry Rollins that called the cops. I'm a CI. For who? Who was he a confidential informant for? We never find out, like, which cop. Because the guy goes, "Hey, buddy, are you working that De Niro case? Whatever their names are." "Yeah, I am." "Well, my CI or somebody's CI just called and said they're robbing a bank today at 11:30. Well, we better get there. That's how that went down. It was another cop who was like, "Oh, yeah, I think some cops are working on that case, Mr.
I
CI."
sort of just thought it was like an anonymous tip.
No, they actually named the CI. I love the confidential informant is named.
Hugh something.
Yeah, Hugh Benny is his name. I just love how the CI is named in the film. Isn't that the whole point of a CI is we don't have the name? Even the other cops don't know the name.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Now, you got the informant part bang on. Confidential part you got to work on.
Good point. Good point. That's the C in CI.
That's the C.
Yeah.
We're halfway there. We are halfway there. But again, it's a movie trope because they're not telling the cops. They're telling the audience the Van Zandt.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Van Zandt?
Yeah. Van Zandt.
Okay, so he confirms it was Van Zandt, and then, of course, he's beat to a pulp, and he's like, "Don't leave me here," and De Niro's character gives him a mercy kill. You saw that coming a mile away. Now, this shot here, do you watch the show Bosch?
Oh, interesting. I've seen
That's
it.
the same house.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
99% sure the same house. That's
Okay.
the same house because LA, right? Is it Bosch in LA as well?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're a Bosch watcher and he watcher, they're in the house. It's this
Good call.
Yeah. Bosch moved in just after the events of Heat. It's fair. Yeah.
I just laugh at the sight of John Boyd in this with his hair.
Yeah. Okay. So they get to where Henry Rollins is located. They find out where he is because that's the confidential informant. So they know, hey, that's what I mean. They know who, again, not confidential, but the informant. So like, hey, let's find out how he knew this. Watch the gunshot sequence here of Wes Study's character, of how they blow down the door. It's an interesting effect because I don't think he's shooting a real gun, but he's pointing the gun where the squibs will take out the door. So it's an interesting effect. Because when the squibs go off, that's when, like, I'm going to watch this now to see how it's timed. And then as they kick down the door, you'll see Al step on the door, and you can totally tell it's made out of, like, nothing. The door itself is made out of paper almost. The way the door moves is so light.
I think this was smart, though.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what they did there was they had squibs go off to blow up the door, but they added a post-effect flash like white for the explosion, because Wes Study actually doesn't even pull the trigger. He just points where the squibs are going to go off. So it's a good practical little effect.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the door. Just step on it. Just see how it's kind of light. That's a light door. The two of them could have easily just punched the door down. Like, just a good kick.
But I feel like I don't usually see that when doors are kicked in. I thought that was really smart. And I'm like, well, yeah, you blow off the hinges first. Yeah.
No, it's good. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I liked how they did it. But just the way they stepped on the door, it's like, no, it's a pretty light door. They could probably easily batter ram that down pretty quickly. And you don't know who's in the house. So using a firearm. He could have a completely innocent person over delivering pizza for all they know. They just blew his head off outside the door. So
Good point.
It's not against the law to deliver pizza to a criminal unbeknownst to you. So the guy says, here's your change, sir. Boom! His head goes flying. He's literally behind the door giving him the pizza to Rollins because he doesn't know he's getting, We have a reenactment here of Wes Study's character fighting the guy on the top of the cliff inside the hotel room. I love how Al Pacino's character, this little Italian guy, beats up Rollins, throws him through a glass.
Of course. Giant person. Oh, that's another trope. Glass windows easily break. You just push someone through them.
Imagine the windows were that weak where you lived. Okay. All right. So then De Niro's character goes to Van Zandt's house. So now,
Oh, yeah.
good little sequence here. He's watching hockey, which I love. Good for Van Zandt. He's a man after my own heart. He watches.
Everybody has a super awesome apartment or house with windows.
Yeah, lots of windows. Lots of
everybody in this movie.
Well, it's LA, I guess. That might be the style of the 80s and 90s. Big windows. There's no privacy.
Like at the beach makes sense. De Niro's house, that was awesome. Like if you're right on the beach. And this guy clearly is rich, but
yeah, he's rich. Yeah. Watching the hockey on the little screen.
Now behind the net brings it.
He just grabs a patio chair again, throws it through a very weak window.
Weak window. Yeah,
for Miller out front. Now here's Murphy with the referee.
No way.
Sugar glass, total sugar glass. Yeah. So of course he jumps up. Well, why wouldn't you? Your window just smashed in.
Waingro, where is he? Where is he?
How the hell would I know?
Love this.
Yeah, that's great. That's just a great little sequence.
Like,
there.
don't even give him any more time.
No, you don't,
like,
okay, you don't know, or you're not telling me. How would I know? Okay, so Hank Azaria's character, to cover his own butt, gets Val Kilmer's girlfriend and kid at the safe house where she's going to betray or, Val's position. Yeah.
I did kind of find it funny that Hank Azaria is like super pissed at her now and keeps throwing shade.
He keeps throwing her, and I do like the cops telling him, like, dude, can you just? She's kind of been through a lot here, and I do appreciate Bubba Gump's.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's Bubba Gump, his partner, Bubba.
Oh wow!
Yeah, from Forrest Gump 2 years previous. Yeah, I feel bad for because every time I hear him talk, I think fashion,
all the shrimps.
As they're scrubbing the floor with the toothbrushes. Anyways, I do like he's trying very hard to say, look, for your kid, think of the kid.
He sells it well.
Yeah, and she's well.
I would have bought it.
Winds up in gladiator academies like Chino and Tracy. Fucked for life. You know what happens, because you've been there. Dominic didn't get a chance yet to choose his life, but Chris did. If you give up Chris, you get off clean. You can do it for your kid so you can raise him.
Her hair looks really shitty here.
Yeah, what's with her hair this movie?
I heard you guys talking about it. Yeah. Well, I don't like Ashley Judd as a blonde. It doesn't look right.
Okay,
she's a brunette, and I think she looks much better with brown hair. But there's something off about her hair.
Oh yeah, it's not a good cut right now. I don't know what's going on here. This is another bad scene. She'd look better with the curls when she's getting slapped.
Well, she got all dolled up to go to the motel with her Hank Azaria boy.
There's not much else to the scene.
Doesn't Robert go see Edie?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes home. She sees the news. And I do like what he says here about what happened to the people that got hurt. And let's just see the sequence of him coming home from the bank robbery and meeting, his girl before cell phones and texting, like, hey, were you just involved in a bank shootout? So he comes home to talk about it.
Speaking of bad hair, she has weird hair in this too. What's with all the girls and their hair? When you have like a lot of hair and it's curly and it's long like that, like it can get big. It's sort of like the Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
It's better. I hesitated whether I'd even bring this up.
Oh,
Amy Brenneman as Edie. Also, I don't like the name Edie for her either. The character names in this, for whatever reason, don't seem to go. But Amy Brenneman, there's nothing wrong with her. I think she does a good job, but there's something about her that irritates me a little bit. Like I kind of wish someone else was in this.
Yeah, you wish it was you.
Yeah, I kind of do. I guess jealous. Maybe that's
okay.
what it is.
You're projecting your own jealousy, which is fine. I get it.
The weird Southern accent. Why does she have a Southern accent?
I'm not sure. Maybe is that where she's from geographically? Is that her normal?
No, like that's not how she talks in other things. Okay. It was for this movie.
And why was the show called Judging Amy? Was it called Judging Amy before she was signed on to play the role of Amy?
No.
Or did they change it because she started it? Is that
probably
weird?
Yeah.
It's like Tony Danza is always called Tony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess she's kind of a phenomenon. She's a good actress, I guess.
She's fine. She does fine. I
don't know, but yeah.
I do like how she we're going to hear about the robbery and Robert's like, hey, pack your stuff for going. I just love how she runs away and he like tackles her in the field.
Yeah, rightly so. Freaks.
Oh yeah, I'm living with a mafia guy or whatever.
He just comes home, explains nothing, just says, pack a bag, we're leaving.
Yeah, he's being as old men should be to their women. perfect.
And she's like, who are you? What is happening here?
Do you regret having coffee with me now?
That's what I don't do. I don't sell metal. Would have been okay. You fly out after. Now it's jammed. We got to go together.
Those other people were with you?
My friend, Mike. You knew the risk. You didn't have to be there. Rains, you get wet.
So that's how he deals with his friend's Michael's death. It rains, you get wet. All right. He knew the risk. He didn't have to be there. I know doesn't really feel that way. He's talking that way, but obviously he's not happy that Michael's dead because he saved Val.
He even tried to talk Michael out of it earlier.
Yeah, you don't need this.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this. Yeah.
Get back. Let's go.
You hear that Michael Mann music? Again, the theme is it's
good
the
call.
same music as Thief and The Keep. This is like, but it's a different composer. Yeah.
Oh,
you could have used this little for The Keep.
That's
but it's a different composer. Yeah, he likes the soundscape, and it's going to be interesting because I admit, Katie, going to future films, I don't know if he keeps this up in the 2000s. I don't know. Yeah. Chase after Edie, tackles her in the field, and I love that she's crawling up some backyard slope or something, trying to run away from Robert. He tackles her, but this is the very Michael Mann shot here. Look, you got the vegetation in the forefront and the characters behind. It's purposely done. It's an interesting shot. For again, the shot is better than the scene. The dialogue is weird. Like the behavior of the humans here is weird.
Yes,
but the shot is beautiful.
Well, because at first I thought the scene will play out, but I was like, oh, she gets on board pretty quick. And then I was like, oh, no, she doesn't. But they go back and forth so much. But then they must have such a connection, these two, because they're both all in.
Yeah, she says, why did you do this to me? I do want to hear your thoughts. We're to close on Edie and Robert's character at the end here. But first we see Al Pacino come home to his wife banging Xander Berkeley. And poor Xander Berkeley is like, I had no idea she was married, dude. And Al keeps telling him to sit down and shut up. And he does a very good job of playing like the cuckold type boyfriend.
I like the TV bit.
He takes the TV with him. But I just want to hear your thoughts on I called this actress the Temu version of Demi Moore. Is that an unfair statement or is that bad? Or
I do think she's really beautiful, but again, she's got real shit hair.
Hair. I know. It's the hair.
Everybody, all the women in this have weird hair.
It's crazy how much hair, and I hate this. I'm sorry, woman. There's a reason why men get a little bit bent out of shape when a woman says, "I'm going to cut all my hair," because you turn into her, and we get really panicky about that. We get real.
Well, you know what? It's a thing. I know sometimes it's like in fashion and out of fashion, but it's not a sexy look. That short bangs.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's just not a good look on really, and it's not a sexy look. You might be cute, but it's not a sexy look. Yeah.
So here we end with this scene again. Michael Mann. Look at the pose here. So this is very deliberate. So we're at the third segment of the Edie De Niro character. She asked, like, when can I leave you? When are you going to let me go? And he's like, well, you can kind of leave whenever. But she's kind of asking, like, fine, I'm going to leave with you. I'm going to go to Cuba with you or whatever, Cabo Wabo, wherever we're going. But at what point can I go if I really? And he says, well, just
go now.
Maybe you'll like it. It won't be. And he's right. It won't be like this. Right now, it sucks because we're on the run. But when we're done running, we just get to live with our millions of dollars on the beach. Like it won't. We just got to run first. Now look at this very Michael Mann shot. You got this big tree, the light, the dark nightscape, and the way Amy has her back to Rob and Robert's sideways to her back. It looks just like the movie poster of characters. And you wouldn't talk this way. I know she has her back to Robert's character, but my back's to you. But it's a very purposeful shot by Michael Mann. Say, I want you to stand this way. Look how much screen is on the left, unused. There's nothing there. It's just empty space, and their characters are all the way to the right of our viewing. It's very interesting. Like they're not in the middle. We're not looking at them with the camera coming around forward. We've got this almost like we're looking at this argument from a distance. The angle and the widescreen usage of this film is done very well. This is a cool shot for me. I like this shot. It's a very, but it's De Niro's speech here of his character, I should say, saying, all right, here I go. Here's the bad guy speech of why you should stay with me. And she's like, that's the one. That's the speech. It's like that part of the romantic film when they make up the romantic comedy, you know? Yeah. So the man says the right things for the woman to come back. This wins her over. Let's hear it.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I know life is short. Whatever time you get is luck. You want to walk? You walk right now. Or on your own. On your own, you choose to come with me. And all I know is there's no point in me going anywhere anymore. I'm just gonna be alone without you.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Also, the waves and the sounds of the beach and whatever in the background. But
peaceful.
That's huge for him, though. He's been a loner this whole time.
But he's breaking his own code again.
Yeah, but he will break it. This definitely would get me. But you know what I think it is? I don't buy this. I don't buy them as a couple.
Yeah, you're just jealous, but go on.
Do you, though?
No, that goes back to the very beginning of our episode, and we'll close with this because the next scene is this sequence of Ashley Judd going to betray what we think he's going to show herself at the window. But we'll start the next episode with that, with our host. To answer your question here, it goes to your point of this movie has all of the templates for a really great 10-episode season. There's so much character development here. Like we could see more of the home life of Chris and Ashley Judd, or Val Kilmer and Ashley Judd, the dating life of Robert and Edie, Pacino with his wife and the stepdaughter. All this stuff is some great family drama with action beats and chaos. So it could have almost been a multi-season arc, or at the very least a very strong, because we have 3 hours here and they do okay, but give me another 7 with these characters.
Exactly. I agree.
You can always have every episode focusing on one relationship, another relationship, and then it all comes to a head in the 10th episode of this miniseries of the heist or whatever. So what's happened here is we're seeing all the shell of these characters, or surface, I should say, of these characters. We don't get very deep because we don't have time.
Yes.
So that's time. Doesn't mean it's not a good story. So not to step on my future host, what he might be criticizing about this film, I might be beating him to it, is we needed more narrative. Either we eliminate some characters or give us more narrative of characters. And to get more narrative of characters, we need a longer format, which is a miniseries. And ironically, Heat, based on his original pilot, LA Takedown, was a pilot for a TV show. So I think
was it?
Yeah. So he was trying to combine a TV show season into a 3-hour movie.
That totally makes sense. That tracks. You're absolutely right. You do hit it on the head, because I didn't like Helen Hunt with Patrick Swayze. I didn't like, I forget her name, the wife in Breakdown with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
And I don't like Amy Brenneman with Robert De Niro. I did like Diane Venora as Justine. I bought her and Al Pacino together. But for some reason, I feel like Edie was miscast. Maybe it's just me. Do any listeners feel like there needed to be more passion with them or something? Like there wasn't.
Yeah. I think the best relationship fleshed out was the marriage. Al's third marriage. And I feel bad for him a little bit because I think he just chooses poorly. I think he's a good man because he was concerned about the daughter, which is more than anyone else was. You know, like he actually cared about this kid, and it shows that he has a heart, but the job is important to him. And he was kind of like, can we just be, you know, have fun in the hay and I'll take care of your daughter. But when I am at work, I'm at work, but I'll get home and I'm coming home. He actually said, I never cheated on you. That's what he's saying to her. I'm loyal to you. I'm loyal to my job and you. My job takes me away from you, but don't mistake me being a really good police officer that I don't care about you and the girl when I come home.
I felt for both of them, because if I were her, I would want more too. This is his third wife, that he was probably pretty upfront with her. Like, this is the deal.
Yeah.
But you know,
she thought she could change him.
Yeah. She wanted him to be human when he came home, and she didn't get much. Like, she got a drinker, or, you know, and like somebody that was a, you know, I mean, I think they had fun in the sack.
Yeah, one of the worst makeout scenes I've ever seen in a movie. But other than that, that's something weird.
Yeah. It's not great.
Great actor, but watching Al Pacino make out with somebody who looks like, again, Demi Moore knockoff, it's kind of hard. It's like, I'd rather seen De Niro and Amy go at it, but we didn't really, which is weird. But
no, we just got a kiss and just kind of the aftermath.
The after coitus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know we talked a lot in a good way, and I still feel rushed because there's just so much to talk about. But we're going to stop it here, folks. That is episode 4 of 5 of Heat. Our next episode, we are going to end it with a downer because our host is just going to crap all over the movie, and I'll do my best to defend the film. If his arguments are fair, because we've been fair, I'm not a fanboy of the film, so I'm always able to listen to, of course, objective criticisms. I think we've done a good job on this one. Maybe I'm taking the wind out of his sails a little bit.
I did too, but I would like to, it is. I guess
it's a good film.
It is really, it is really good.
It's a fun film. It's not a perfect film, but it's a fun film.
Yeah. There's so many people in this.
Repeat viewings. I think you almost start to fill in some of the gaps yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's what they're talking. Because, and I'm really interested now in reading the book that Craig talked about, because I think we get to flesh out the characters more with the post and pre-events. And I think that would help fill in. So it'll be very interesting to read the book, then go back and watch the film again, knowing their characters more in depth would be an interesting experience, because you're in your mind, you're filling in those plot hole gaps on the screen. Well, this is absolute blast. Katie, you're always a pleasure to do this with. And again, people can find Katie at the Retro Made podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts, on YouTube. If you want to see Katie with her co-host, like we're doing here on YouTube, or in audio, like you're listening to me on audio, Retro Made podcast. I'll tag your show.
Thank you.
Do you want me to